Unrealkiller has a lot of hours too. Unrealkiller has 3.6k hours. Like you get nobody out of the two of these people that we reviewed today are spring chickens. Very much very seasoned Dead by Daylight gamers. This is on Ormond, which is like I don't know. This Ormond is kind of like a mixed bag for Billy because the snowdrifts are very curvable, but like obviously it's a huge map and you know a lot of the tiles are kind of hard for Billy to like the natural tiles are pretty hard to curve, so it just kind of there's good things and bad things, so we will see. We get throughout the game's cool. Rundown on the build. I can't see your build. Whoa. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I can't see your build because of your text at the bottom. Switch lethal and barbecue to no way out deadlock. The amount of crouch deckers. You actually run into a lot of crouch deckers? Actually, I haven't run into a great deal of them. Like, I've had it, like, maybe once or twice a month while playing Billy, but I don't really run into it that often. That's interesting. You run into them that much. Yeah, I still think... I remember the first match review I ever gave you, I told you to take off Starstruck, and you still are on this perk. I still think this is a bad pick for your build. I still think that this is counterintuitive to you getting better at Billy. I definitely still think you should turn it off or take it off. Replace it with something else. Definitely replace this with something else. I know it seems you like this perk a lot, but I don't think it's very helpful for learning Billy at all. Shadowborn makes sense. Shadowborn makes sense, and the double engravers make sense. Actually, you're running into that many crouch deckers that you're like switched your whole build. I didn't run into that on them. That's interesting. Yeah, you find somebody pretty quickly, which is really good. Yeah, there's a guess there that somebody's there to go for a curb, but unless you see them, it is just kind of a blind guess. Like, I get that that's what you're going for, but without knowing that they're there, that is just kind of a shot in the dark. And because Billy's recovery is so long, you're kind of giving him just distance to run away from you. That's kind of like all you're realistically doing is you're giving them space to run. So I would not go for blind sauce all the time. Every once in a while maybe, but like... Every once in a while maybe, but yeah. They're all three here! If you had... Okay, so revving this early is not a bad idea, but, like, what you do with it is bad. So, like, you rev super early. Like, you get hit with the head-on, you see all three people out this door, so you start revving. And this, on its own, is not a bad thing, but you should have gone to this side of Shack, because all three of them are here. They're either going to be standing at the corner of Shack over here, or they're going to be running back front of the window. I don't know why you go around the back side of Shack, because you go to the right, not the left. Why do you go back here? You know they're not over here. Yeah, you know they're not over here. Why'd you go over here? Yeah, you're starting a mind game, but, like, they're not there. What are you mind gaming? The snow? The snow of Ormond? Like, there was nobody over there. Who were you mind gaming? You should have just went around. Because now you just gave them access back into the... Okay, you can hit this probably. Ooh. Yeah, that was good. That was good. That was just him playing well. That wasn't you playing bad. You just knew what to do. Okay. Yeah, I've noticed you're always very laggy when you're playing. I don't know what that's about. Oh, you went too wide. Yeah, you went too wide. In that case, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to catch her going wide, but, like, I would just, like, hug it anyway. Because, like, it's like Huntress, right? If somebody's at the corner of a tile like she was, a lot of the time they'll just hug it and get out of the way. So it's better to try and hug it with them and potentially clip them than to anticipate them to dodge. And if they like fanning outward, then that's just something they do. Now you know. But it's still better to hug initially. Yeah, it was a little too late for you to understand that that was happening. I don't know why they would run into you. You make a lot of assumptions about this. Okay, so, like, you're at 5 gems. You don't know anything about these players. You're learning as you chase them, but you don't know anything about these players. That's why all your guesses are wrong, because you're anticipating their movements and their choices that haven't even happened yet. Like, you're trying to read, like, actions that these players are physically not actually taking. And that's, so you're just trying to, you're going for these really fancy reads when they're just not doing the actions that you're reading into. So just, like, just tailgate them a little bit, and just go for safe things. Just play a little safer. Yeah, because now gens are going in the background. Yeah, you gotta make it out and around that. Yeah, you had to. You're right in that. Wait, why aren't you hooking in the basement? What? What was your reasoning for not hooking in the basement? Right ahead of it. With a gen right there that's partially finished? Why aren't you hooking in the basement? I don't hook in basement unless there's no other hooks available. Why? Why? It's one of your greatest tools as killer. Huh? Why? Why not? You're literally... This means that they have to, in order to keep this gen going, which they already have half progress on, they have to go through you to get the save and tap the gen. You have a lot of pressure here. Why do you just give that up? That's not smart. That's not it. Definitely use basement. It's there for you to use. That's a weird rule. I would not use that rule. Like, I just wouldn't. Going back here because Steve was here. You saw Steve here. You know Steve was here with her. That's why you're going back here. Yeah, because Steve was here, yeah. You know why you're here. You said other guy, but yeah, you knew Steve was here. You knew why. You don't know if he's still there, but you knew he was at one point. Oh, here he is. Because when you get rid of barbecue and lethal, now you don't have info. You kind of just gotta use map sense to understand. You hit there? You hopes and dreams. You assume people are going wide this entire match, and nobody's gone wide on you once. Anticipate people going wide is something you do when they start doing it. You're anticipating people going wide when they literally haven't done it in the match yet. So you're anticipating something that the players are physically not doing. Like, I get that certain players do that, but, like, none of these guys have, and you keep accounting for something that they're not doing. They're accounting for something they're not actually doing. Ooh, there you go. There you go. Please hook in the basement. You literally don't hook in the basement ever. Wow, that's crazy. There's no reason for that. There's no reason to not hook in basement. Biggest takeaway right here. Hook in basement. That's a weird rule, and it's a useless rule. Hook in basement. Smart. Don't let him heal up. Breaking up the heal. Good. Good play. These should be pretty curvable. They get kind of funky, but these are pretty curvable. That was not too early. It was a little late, if anything. You need to be a little bit more snappy. You should have sent that if you were going to. I remember the last time you sent me a match review, you had this issue as well, and you haven't improved on it. It's like you hold your chainsaw up for so long that you give the survivors so much information on what you're gonna do that they just dodge you appropriately every time. I remember this is something I told you last time too. It's like if you just sit there and you hold your saw up for a really, really long time, the survivor is like, okay, well, I'm about to be chainsawed, so they get into position to avoid you. You got to be a little bit snappier with these. You got to be a little bit quicker with these because the longer you have your power readied with any killer, not just Billy, the longer you have the more you are giving survivors information on how to dodge you and giving them more ample time to prepare to get out of the way. So you're still going for these really, really long revs where you're 99ing for a really, really long time. So of course Kate gets out of the way. Of course Kate gets out of the way because there's no ambiguity about what you're doing. So you need to be a little bit more snappy with your M2s. What? All of that? Hello? I don't even know what that was. There you go. Good job. See, like, you didn't keep revving your chainsaw. You just kind of, like, let it. You just let it ride, you know? So she didn't really have an opportunity to make it to the pallet or to double back or whatever she wanted to do. She got dunked on, right? So be snappier like that. You're already at 2 gens. You spent so much time at Shag just pretending that you were outsmarting people, doing things that they weren't actually doing. And now, look, now that you're actually hugging objects, like, you're getting a bunch of downs. Because you stop going, okay, well, they're going to go wide every single time. Or, hey, they're actually at the 39th angle of this pallet over on the other side, even though I physically haven't seen them there. Now that you stop going for those weird shots, you're doing a lot better. Smart to let him go, because you have to, like, waste time breaking a breakable wall, and that's a time investment. Then you gotta find where he went. He probably went to Shack. It was smart to give up that chase. Now you can break up the hill with this hook. Oh god. I just M1 here. There's no reason to go for the chainsaw. Oh, it doesn't matter then, I guess. Where is this Megan? What is she doing? I haven't seen this Meg since. This is what I'm saying. We're at 6 minutes into this match, and you're like, starstrucks to make the survivors hesitate. It's like, you have not got a single proc of this, and you never get a single proc of this perk anytime you've ever sent me a match review. This perk has given you nothing. This perk has never done anything for you in a single match you've ever sent me. Stop running it. You're getting 0 value. 0. Honestly, if she's gonna run into you, just... I mean, I would have just tunneled her. If she wants to run into you, that's her problem. That's not your fault. That's on her. Nice. Good job. See how you're being snippy now? And suddenly you're getting all these downs? You're not giving them enough time to react, so they're not reacting. Showing this game? Yeah, he's just like it's kind of like Oni without like the ease of use, right? It's like Oni without the ease of use and obviously having to, you know, build up to your power. Because Oni does the same thing where he has that instant down ability that's kind of hard to hit, but it's like a little bit easier than Billy. Yeah, it's like the same thing. So you can go on big snowballs. That's why some people use Infectious on Billy, because they want to play him kind of like a pseudo Oni. I would just M1 her here. Don't even go for an M2. Because these tiles are ick. When I was talking about tiles that suck for Billy earlier, this is one of them. Oh, good. She just throws power and leaves it. Glad she didn't get much out of it. You could have hit her there. Yeah, you could have just let her go and hit her. Yeah, you could have put her down. I would really just M1 her. There's no reason not to. Right. And then go get the Kate, right? I don't know. You're at 1 gen. I would have kept on Kate, because you have a lot of pressure on Kate. I would not have picked up here. I would have stayed on Kate. Yeah, you need Kate here. You don't need these guys. Yeah. This might be something that, costs you later. You said it yourself, Kate's the weak link, too. You need to go for her. But you're not, for some reason. Okay, you're on her again, which is good. Need to stick on Kate. Once again, I would just have one hand here. You're giving her so much time. She's gonna make the pallet now because you're just revving your chainsaw in the middle of nowhere. You could have just M1'd her. Yes, thank God. Thank God for just hitting her. That should have happened like 30 seconds earlier. I'm gonna get that gem in there next to you. Yeah, if she had been dead 30 seconds earlier, you would have had time to protect that gen, but you were too prideful to not M1. That's why you're in this situation. Case in point. Had his owners. Oh, she didn't have anything to use. If she had made it, if she had ran to that pallet, your chainsaw would have been up by then, and she would have went down. It was a lose-lose for her, and she knew it. So she tried to be weird instead. Yeah, she just tried to be weird about it instead. Ooh. I don't know why he didn't keep moving. Like, that's more his fault, realistically. Like, he should have kept moving when he saw you coming around the corner. I don't know why he stood there and let you do that. He gotta let you have that, and I'm not sure why. Especially on Death Perk. Like, why would he do that? That's just goofy. Yeah, I don't know why he just let you have that. Really weird. Are you letting him go? Oh, you're just letting him go. Why is this so long, then? Okay, I'm only reviewing the one. I gotta review both. Okay, so for this match, a lot of this stuff is like stuff that like I've told you before, but like you haven't taken that advice to heart. So I guess I just reiterate again. First thing, there's a lot of things. First thing is that in terms of takeaways. My first main takeaway is stop trying to go for reads that aren't happening. You try to count. So the whole point of like a counterplay. So like, for example, you're going wide on your chainsaws to try and, counterplay them. Nobody was going wide. Like, Steve went wide once the entire match, and he was the only one. And if you notice, when you stopped anticipating that people were going to go wide every single loop, you started hitting people. When you started hugging those loops because nobody was dodging that way, you started putting people down. But you were literally anticipating counterplay that wasn't actually happening. The only reason you have to counter that is if there's a reason or a necessary need to counter it. But like, they literally weren't making the plays you were trying to counter, so like you were losing so much time. And match time is gen time. So like, if they're not making the plays that are like, if they're not making the plays that you need to counter, stop using the counterplay. Stop using the counterplay. That you wasted a lot of time this match doing that. Second takeaway for this Billy match. This is something that I told you the last time I gave you a match review, and it's something that you still do. You rev your chainsaw way too early. And that's why a lot of people are dodging you very, very easily, is because you're giving them so much time to react to you. And if you notice, once again, like I said with the first takeaway, the second takeaway, once you started being more snippy with your chainsaws, once you started kind of just like letting your chainsaw fly instead of feathering it for like 10 years, you notice people start going down really quick because they couldn't react to you in time. But when you were giving them all this time to react, of course they were, putting themselves in a safer position or dodging correctly because you gave them a lot of time. You gave them a lot of time to react to you. So be a little bit quicker and snippier with your chainsaws. Don't like feather forever because it gives them a lot of ability or a lot of time to react appropriately if you do that. Third, final, stop using Starstruck. You have sent me like 3 match reviews at this point, and I have never seen you once get value out of this perk. It is literally a dead perk slot. Every single time we get to the end game screen when I'm doing one of your match reviews, that's a dead perk slot. You got no value out of that. Zero. Literally zero. You have had zero value out of this perk the entire time you've ever run it. At least in terms of matches you have sent me. So please stop running it and run something better in its slot. That will actually help you. Yeah, Brutal, put Barbecue back on, put Lethal back on. There's so many good options. Enduring's great on Billy. Instead of a perk that you're literally getting no value out. Ever. Stop it. Quit it.